we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to the Book Club Bros podcast. I'm here. My name is Chase, and I'm here with my co-hosts today, Landon and Miguel.
Look at you. You're really coming into your own
There you go.
this season.
And guys, we are on part 3 of the season. This is the season finale book. We got to get hyped. This is the Fall Back Down When I Die by Joe Wilkins, part 3, guys. And we started this section from page 121 to 181 is what we read, guys. So another 60 bomb. And finally, something actually happened. And we'll talk about that as we go through this chapter, guys, or at this section. But guys, if you haven't read, make sure to pause the podcast, pause the video, whatever you're recording or watching on, and make sure you read this section because there are some spoilers. But let's dive right in. Verl, day 17. Anything there?
Verl, I just looked it up. Verl actually translates into the word truth, which is kind of weird. Like his name.
That is weird.
So do you think he's actually thinking the truth? Because last week you said he was crazy.
He was.
Because
We find out he's.
you had a little
crazy.
sneaky peek and forgot how many days there was.
He doesn't remember the
So
days.
I don't know if that changes anything.
We come to find out why.
Yeah.
Yep.
We come to find out why.
All right. Well,
Nothing happens in that first portion.
no,
Really. He's
just Verl's being Verl.
Yeah.
Being crazy.
just
Writing down his
not
diary.
sleeping for very long. He's getting real cold out there.
Yep, still out in the mountains. Wendell, diving into the Wendell section. The only thing I got with this was, from this part, was a few things. But
He got confronted by Glenn because he had left Rowdy overnight.
yeah, and
whenever he
Glenn
went
was
out drinking.
mad.
He wasn't happy about it. He said, "You just got to get it figured out. You may got a kid to raise, but I got a ranch to run." So he's but at the same time, he's doing a little dance with him where he's like, "Hey, get it figured out. I know it's tough. I know you're going through it. I don't want to be too hard on you. You're my best worker. Get it figured out."
Right. At
Like
the same time.
he's giving him the compliments and also saying
Tough
"Hey,
love.
it's time to.
And then,
He asked him about Brian Betts.
yeah,
And Glenn's opinion of him was pretty positive, surprisingly. He was like,
yeah.
"Oh, he's like a hard worker." And then he even says like, you and your dad would have been thick as thieves, or he and your dad would have been thick as thieves. They'd have talked Mano subjects up and down. So he kind of implies that Wendell's dad and Brian Betts would have been kind of.
Well, I thought they were. I thought they
Well, we
were
find that out, but
friends.
this is before that.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, you find that out a little bit, but you realize too, like it puts a lot of timelines on stuff. Like, so you find out that he was 12 years old when his dad went away. Like we were trying to figure out how long
Right,
it had
and
been
it's
and
been-
certain things. So it's been
It's been
over a
10 year-
decade,
oh,
yeah.
over 10 years.
it's crazy.
So, but yeah, so we find out a lot. Yeah, we know that.
Like he justifies that Betts was keeping him out of school. He said he ought to think a little bit harder about that. Like the boy got to be in school, but he's not worried about the kid cutting down the fences. Wendell was like, "You're all right with him cutting down government fences?" And you find out that Glenn's like, "I ain't got no love for the federal government, Wendell. You know that."
Yeah.
So like everyone kind of in this town seems to be anti-government
Right.
in this small town, which is kind of checks out for the most part, but
Typical Midwest kind of, that's my land.
that's true.
But yeah, no, Wendell's dad, Verl, and Brian Betts were friends, which is something I wrote down on that, which is very interesting. And then
You get a little story about Lacey and Wendell
Mm-hmm.
about how they go out in the woods and shot a cow elk that one time, and they had planned to butcher the cow after school the next
Oh,
day.
and
But
then he
whenever they
got
got
caught.
home,
Yep.
they got caught, and he said next time there'll be a fine and there'll be no more rifles. So,
yeah, shot an elk. That's right.
yeah.
Yeah. And then but it doesn't say, oh yes, I guess that's right. He did leave when he was 12 years old. That's right. Because I wrote down how long has he been gone, Verl.
It says it a
but-
little bit later.
yeah.
I think you were just probably wondering at that point.
Yeah, and then
Maddie comes out.
Maddie drops off some clothes for Rowdy. Seems to have a good time there. And then at the very end, he's out checking the traps. Is that what he's doing? But he discovers a cave.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. Yeah, to the yawning and opening of a cave. Were you thinking that was maybe where his dad was staying?
That's what I'm
Could
thinking.
have been.
That's what I wondered.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It literally doesn't expound on it.
No,
again,
it just says along one wall stretch a section of metal shelving filled with traps, snares, water jugs, gas cans, maps, shovels, tarps, tools, and whatnot. So it's just like, okay, like clearly someone was living there. And that's what I kind of put together was that, yeah, Verl was living there. But I don't know if he currently was. But speaking of Verl, we switch over from Wendell back to Verl, day 18. I got no notes or anything on that. Do you guys or anyone want to put some context on or anything?
He just says the same thing almost every single portion for the most part. He's just like, I'm hungry and I'm cold, and like that's too. He says, saw the frost come down, so like that's a combination for just like you're not doing well.
Yeah.
Especially if it's been
Nothing
that
but a
long.
howl in the belly.
Like a wolf. He's starting to kind of lose it. Like through
Yeah.
these portions, you can see him start to lose it more
Yeah.
and more.
Yeah, but we just don't know what the context is. If it's day 18 of when he first initially left, day 18 from when he started writing, not even a day 18. It's actually on day 1800 and he has no clue or what. But jumping to Jillian now, we're in a Jillian's perspective. Nothing too much on this one. Only this section I find out that Jillian notices Rowdy with a bruise on his
Bruise
arm.
on her wrist, on his wrist.
And
yeah.
that flags her, thinking that, whoever, because she doesn't know yet.
The paperwork's not in yet.
Yeah, the paper's not in yet, but she feels like Rowdy's being, not being treated well at home. So, and then
Everyone seems to think that about Wendell trying to take care of this kid. Her
Yeah.
daughter's saying the same thing. She just doesn't even know it.
yeah, and then we also find out that Jillian kind of has a soft side for Kent. They went on a date.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah,
I would call that a date.
yeah. And then
You hear that Maddie tells Jillian that, or whenever Jillian is talking to Kent, you get a little bit of the context of where Maddie had maybe finally hit a rebellious phase. She'd been hanging out with this college friend of hers till all hours of the night. And
Yeah.
you see some of the overlap
yep.
of kind of what's going on there.
Yep. We also find out that Kent has 3 daughters, 3 older daughters. He's a family man as well, but
You found out that she was grieving and was sleeping with the secession of men right after. But then,
Jillian.
but then Maddie had kind of woke up one day asking who was beside her. She rolled over to find this ponytailed man with cigarette
Yeah.
burns and stuff, and she kind of had like a reality check.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, she was sitting there, and then it says sitting on the edge of the tub holding Maddie. She understood that this wasn't the way to honor her grief, so she kind of snapped out of that
Yeah.
phase once that happened.
Got her life together. And yeah, and then at the very end of the section, we find out a little bit of a bombshell that Jillian finds out the connection of Rowdy and Wendell, right?
Through
Now-
David Coles, yeah.
Well, it was through
David Coles
They-
had said that he found some things out about Rowdy and wanted to tell her in person.
yeah, but we found out the coin in this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so
So-
Rowdy had a coin. She noticed a coin. She recognized the coin. Then she asked Dave for more information. Dave found out, and then now she puts 2 and 2 together that Rowdy is Verl's son. Is owner? I guess no.
Guardian.
Guardian.
Yeah.
Wendell.
Owner.
Owner. That's not right.
That's not
But-
right.
But yeah, so she obviously feels some type of way because of whole Verl. So now Wendell's being judged.
And she makes a connection to Wendell. She says she remembered him from the months of 7th grade earth science
Mm-hmm.
before she left Delphia. And then
Didn't one of you guys call that?
I wondered if she did. I wasn't sure
Right.
if it. I thought there was a chance, but it looks like she remembered him from a brief port of time
Mm-hmm.
or a brief stint of time over there. And then on the front page, she remembered like the Wendell Newman story about how they never found his father's remains, and he was in a league with Betts, and it was part of the same. And then she started to have these. You saw her feelings about Verl just translate down to Wendell.
Oh yeah.
Like she just assumed she's like he was in a league with Betts, was part of the same sick cycle, was poisoning Rowdy as he'd been poisoned himself, filling the poor boy with all kinds of racist, sexist, ultra conservative junk. He had to be stopped.
yeah.
So now you start to see like, oh okay, like she's projecting this. So then you find out she calls Child Protective Services and tells them about the bruises on his wrist
Yep.
at the end of the
Yep.
chapter.
And then we jump back to Verl. He's kind of losing it a little
we get our
bit.
first question mark.
First question mark on day 20.
Mm-hmm.
And he's asking how many days running in the dark. So, yep, he's definitely kind of unwinding.
He said he ate his last Snicker bar, but he doesn't remember when.
Yeah.
He finds a pile of bones. That was weird. He said, "I'll stay here with these bones." Some random bones, but
And then jump into Wendell
back
now.
to Wendell.
Back to Wendell. Now we get Wendell's perspective. And
This is when they had the cattle collision.
Oh,
yes, yeah. So Wendell's working at Glenn's farm.
On
the
a day
ranch
when Rowdy's
hands.
supposed to be in school, he kept him out of school that day.
Yeah, and it's him, Glenn, 2 helpers, Freddie, and there's someone else. Timmy?
Freddie,
And
Timmy.
those are the 4, and then because basically what they're doing, they're like routing up the cattle for cattle sale.
Yep.
They're selling to another buyer.
Getting them weighed.
Yeah, getting them weighed, getting them sorted from calves, and then nothing really too big happens.
They just whip and start running right at
right
him.
at the very end, Rowdy and who was next to him? Was it Timmy or Freddie? It was like
The two of them took off,
yeah,
and then Wendell had to go sprint and,
saved Rowdy.
and saved him. and he
Saved
got
Rowdy
kicked.
from getting ran over by some cows.
It kind of
And-
gives you a like Glenn's thing too, where he's just like, "Oh, it'd be a shame if that would have happened. 2 of my best workers."
yeah,
Like he did one of the just that is that Midwest kind of like not the sentimental type. He's just like
definitely tough love. But
Yeah, tough
I mean,
love.
you're really showing you're really seeing that like Wendell really cares for the kid, and like he'll do anything, he'll drop anything and run and try to protect him. And then jumping to Verl again, day 21
Well,
question mark.
real quick. They start to at the end of that chapter, they start talking about how they should set up for a fire because Maddie's coming out later on.
Yeah, yep.
And Rowdy and Rowdy went to go get some wood from the fire
From the woods,
from the
yeah.
woods, and that kind of leads into what happens here in a minute.
Yeah. Fire's not the only thing heating up. So after Verl, another kind of just crazy little episode, just talking about himself. He even talks about saying like,
Admitting some of his
Yeah, I'm
his
sorry.
wrongdoing.
to go on like this. So he knows that like he's kind of just
It's my own
complaining.
doing.
Yeah.
Should not have shot that deer. Should not have done so many things. Like now he's at the point, and that's like at the point where you wonder
It's like a
like if
stage
he's
of
about
grief.
to not make it.
Right.
Is what I was thinking. Where he's like,
Oh,
I-
Verl's
like-
even dead.
Like I should no. Well, he's not dead necessarily, but he's at the point where he's like, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that because it's got me here about to die.
yeah.
Like now I'm at the point where I don't think like in the beginning, if you remember, he's just like, this people are like, I mean, I'm never gonna be like these other people. I'm glad that I did this. Da da da. And now he's like, I shouldn't have done this. I
Yeah.
shouldn't have. He's at that point where he's like really going through it, which leads us to our last portion, second to last.
Second to
portion.
last.
Back to Jillian. It's just
jumping
Jillian
back to
and,
Jillian.
Jillian and Wendell.
Yeah, these are the 2 all-stars of the show
All-stars.
of this section. But this Jillian kind of goes through it a little bit. She just like, after realizing the news of Rowdy and Wendell, she starts
Like hallucinating.
Yeah, just
imagining
starts
stuff.
going through it. Just what was the one part?
She imagined that Kevin was with her and like they were walking and they saw Rowdy at the bank.
Yep.
And they were like, we've got to help him. And like Kevin shook his head. And then she saw someone hiking with Rowdy and it was Maddie. So like she's just imagining all this stuff. And then Jillian woke up soaked in sweat.
Yeah, and then like she just anything. She needs a glass of water. She drank it down. The water cooled, going down her throat, cold in her belly. She saw out of the window above the kitchen sink the neighbor's tiny dog sitting smack dab in the middle of her backyard, staring right at her, shivering. Small dog. She hated that animal. She took a long drink of water, turned from the window, and the dog Bitsy, that's his name, exploded in serious barking. So like, yeah, she's just like,
Hating everything. right
yeah,
now.
just going through it, finding out that news.
She had been trying to cook dinner for Maddie. I don't remember if it was this time or last time, and didn't realize she wasn't going to be home that night.
Yep.
Then she wakes up and realizes that Maddie's already taken off and says she's going to be later that night as well, maybe 10 or 11.
Yep.
So she's just really not seeing her daughter much at all during this time span.
Yeah.
And then she took out all those guns. That was interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah,
And then
took
she
out-
fake shot the
yeah,
dog.
Yeah.
She pulled out the gun and pointed it and pulled the trigger, and it clicked. I was like, holy cow. Yeah. She lifted out Kevin's guns. Yeah, she was just wielding guns and everything. But
And this is where she digs into Lacey a little bit more just to kind of figure out like who the parents are of Wendell.
mm,
And she clicked on something about Lacey and she sees the picture alongside the story. And then you have the grainy pixelated shadow in the courtroom where they're doing
where
the
they notice
sentencing.
Wendell.
And she notices a clean shaven looking man, Wendell Newman. So like she's starting to put all of these pieces together. I mean, it just makes you wonder like what that would be like if you want to like put yourself in her shoes and just like watching all these things happen because you don't really we know everyone else's parts of the stories
Yeah.
and like just like their thinking and stuff like that. Like she's sitting here like, oh wow, like Wendell's really connected to this kid in certain ways, but I wonder how much she knows that like she probably does know some of the stuff that Lacey and Wendell were wrapped up in if they were being rebellious and stuff like that. So she's just like, as the grown up, as the parent, like how is this kid allowed to stay with Wendell, and probably just has all types of feelings about
Yeah.
that too.
And she's really jumping to conclusions. You know, she's really portraying a lot of Verl's hatred onto Wendell for no apparent reason, you know, without even knowing the kid, really. Which is slightly unfortunate. But at the very end of
They
that,
foreshadow what was about to happen. I didn't realize that until you finish reading the portion
yeah,
where it says she took a drink of water and caught in her throat. She coughed. What did they just say? What was this about a developing situation in Delphia, Montana?
Yep.
And I'm just like, what could that be?
Mhm.
Well, like what? I'm like, I wonder if we're gonna figure out what this is.
Yeah.
And then it goes into
Yep.
the developing situation after day 23 question mark.
day 23, which I don't think there was a day 22 from Verl, right?
But it hasn't done every day, you know, like
Yeah.
this isn't this 23rd writing. Like it'll skip days and
Very
stuff
true,
like
very
that.
true.
But I mean, you got another question mark.
Yeah. And then, yeah, not much from Verl, just another craziest. But now,
This is action packed from the jump.
action packed. Here we go. Strap in if you're not, because Wendell's section gets going crazy. So, yeah, so Wendell and Rowdy are back at the house, getting the fire ready. Rowdy's out in the woods grabbing some
Wood.
some sticks,
Firewood.
And that's the start of it.
Set the scene.
Setting the scene. And then basically what happens is
Maddie pulls up. Right.
Yeah.
yes, Maddie pulls up
She's there.
and he notices that she's not looking at him. Her face is turned from him, like his back is facing him, and she's staring out into the road. And then like a couple pickup
Couple
trucks,
cars pull up.
come up, and out steps out. What's his name?
Betts led the way.
Yeah, it was Betts, Freddie from one of the helping hand,
Freddie,
the hands, helping
walked 3
hands.
steps behind. Daniel McCleary
Daniel,
flanked
Toby.
on the side.
I thought it was his
He
son
was
too,
a town kid.
Yeah, Taven.
and Taven was there too.
Toby and Taven.
Yeah, so
He didn't recognize Toby.
yeah, so they just step out, and this was like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
Just
he's-
random, yeah. Like he was laughing at him until he realized that Trisha Wilson's boy was there too. He's like, this is out of a movie scene, like a bunch of people just walking up to him.
Yeah,
He said their goofy steps and their staged movements, like almost you imagine them just like trying to be like, you
These
know,
tough guys.
these bad boys,
Yeah.
just walking up. He's like, what is going on?
yeah, and then basically Betts comes out and is just trying to like recruit him.
Mm-hmm.
Starts talking to him. He's just like, he starts to talk about how
His dad,
his dad, and he says,
what a great guy.
he tries to empathize with him. He goes, my father shot himself. That's what my old man did after he was laid off. So, I mean, these guys, you just see time after time again, like they're trying to take their land in this Montana area. They have their jobs laid off by the government, most likely, is how you would assume what that is. So, like, they have just reason after reason to just want to have this patriarchy,
Yeah,
to, like, just set up this kind of vigilante gang
yeah,
type thing.
exactly. Yeah, vigilante is like a perfect
Yeah.
description. And then from there, he's just trying to.
So he talks about his dad a little bit. He goes, "Your old man." He's like, eventually he says, he wants to recruit you because he goes, your old man didn't knuckle under. He refused to be a victim. He didn't shove the barrel up under his own chin, talking about his dad. He was like, he shouldered a shot. He shouldered and shot back, shot that goddamn game warden who should have known better. Your father's a hero. That's what he is. So then they start to just like heroize what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he's like, we hope Earl Newman's own son might be able to see what's right, might stand with us. So like you said, he starts to recruit him. And this is when you find out a dozen years ago he disappeared forever. So that's where you find out the timeline of it, where it's been a dozen years since Earl has been gone. But yeah, they start to recruit him.
And then while Maddie's there, so then
Well,
Maddie's
so this is what's crazy. Like, I didn't realize it a little, like, until I was like, oh, okay, they're talking about what Earl did to the game warden, which was Maddie's dad.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I don't know if Maddie knows
I think she,
the Verl part or not.
No, she doesn't know about Verl, but she knows.
I don't think she did know, but after that interaction where he's just like, when your dad shot the game warden,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, how many game wardens are getting shot? Like, he's probably one of the only ones in this area that they would know of that got shot.
yeah. I mean, Maddie,
If she knows about her dad's story, which
right?
I
Which
don't know how old she would have been. If it was 12 years ago and Maddie's in high school, she would have only been like,
she's like she's 18, so
5
she's
or
6. Yeah, so it's possible that maybe Julian's hiding the fact that he was murdered or not. I
we don't know that, but
yeah.
she seems to have some type of like disbelief,
Right.
though, which makes me think that she probably is piecing this together in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Maddie, at Bet's words, had jerked and shook her head at Wendell, her face simply falling apart, and stumbled back into her car.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, I think she just, I like, that's when you realize, oh, Maddie's there while this is all going on.
Yeah. And she tries to leave,
Yeah.
and then Beth stops her.
And then Brian says, someone's coming.
Yeah. And then so tries to leave, Beth gets a little bit snappy, says, stop the F in the car, and then unholsters his pistol, told his men to take positions because the cars are coming.
And the blue sheriff SUV is what was pulling into the drive.
Yeah. So now
It's a standoff. It's a
now
good
it's
old
a standoff.
Texas
Yeah.
standoff.
So you got the sheriff. You have 2 cars pulling up after the trucks pulled in. It's sheriff's SUV and another car for the Child Protective Services.
Oh yeah. So you got Deputy Sheriff Ryan Buchard.
Yeah. And guns are drawn. People are the posse are pointing at the deputy. Deputy's pointing at the posse, and it's a standoff. Rowdy's nowhere to be seen still.
He's still in the woods.
And Wendell is next to Maddie,
Sitting down by
just
the car. He's
trying
sitting
to
down by the car,
just trying to calm her.
because they tried to make a break for the house and they weren't. He said, "No, you're staying right here."
Yeah.
Held
Held at
that gunpoint. Said
gunpoint.
The pistol was in his clavicle.
Yeah, that's
Like his shoulder.
That's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
this
they're
is
just
when
sitting.
you
Yeah,
get.
sit. This is my show.
So this is my show. So then he sits up and Bet starts to do his whole monologue where
Yeah.
he goes.
Well, Mister. Yeah.
He says, "Mr. Bucher, this is right interesting. I believe we have ourselves a bit of a disagreement about how to proceed. You see how a man raises up his boy? Well, that's a sacred thing. And it ain't up to you or me or anybody but him. So I'll kindly ask you and Miss Anna there to turn around, take your leave of us. Your authority isn't recognized here, which means you are trespassing, and as friends of Mr. Newman, we are acting within our constitutional rights and defending our private property." And then
Yeah. We aim to
it
first shot.
cuts off. The first shot came out of nowhere but the sky, and then and then all of a sudden bullets start to rip, and then Bet's still standing, gargled another word, indecipherable, and a cup of blood sloshed from his mouth. So he's been hit. And then it says, Betts dropped his pistol, swam his hands through the air, and toppled the ripe weight of his head, smacking the hood of Maddie's car.
Oof.
Freddie screamed. Wendell pulled out Maddie towards the trailer, and the speaker atop the sheriff's SUV crackled once, and Betts' men opened fire.
And that is it.
That's how we wrap.
We don't even know who shot Betts, from where, if it was the
We
sheriff.
don't know if anyone else was shot.
We don't know any of that. All we know is it got interesting at the literally last 6 pages. And because we were talking about this earlier this week, and Lanahan was like, "Yeah, man, I got like 6 pages left." I was like, "Oh, bro, have you gotten to the?" And he's like, "Don't tell me." I was like, it's like either got to it
Yeah.
or
no,
you're
I hadn't,
about
and
to.
I hadn't been to it yet.
And
How
Yeah.
about it? How about it?
finally something. It's getting crazy. So the last section should be very, very interesting as we finish up the book and read from page 184 to
It should be like
243.
Yeah,
243.
243.
So another 60 pages just like that, guys. But yeah, no, this one actually, got better.
So what
A
do we
little bit
think is
better.
gonna happen? Because really, I thought the wolf hunt was gonna be a huge thing, but this is kind of like jumped in and taken place of that. Like now you got this whole situation that doesn't have anything to do with the wolf hunt right now.
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't know.
like, was it misdirection?
I don't know if the
like
wolf
they're-
hunt's actually gonna happen now. With
That's what I'm
Betsy's
saying.
dad.
Like, what is
Yeah.
this? Like Betts, we assume is maybe dead.
Oh, I think
He's
he's
definitely.
definitely dead.
I feel like he is.
Yeah, but who do you think shot him? Was it the sheriff?
Had to be the sheriff because it's not the child protective person.
It wasn't him.
I
Wasn't Rowdy?
doubt it. Anna.
I think it was
Rowdy.
I think it was Rowdy.
You think it was Rowdy?
Yeah. I think he picked up a rifle and he
Protecting
walked
Wendell?
through
He was
the
protecting
woods.
Wendell because I mean,
Dude, if
Betts-
it was Rowdy, that's the guess
because
of the day.
wasn't Betts' gun still on Wendell?
No, I'm sure
when he was
took it
saying
off
this,
him.
or was
Surely
he-
he took it
No.
off him because he said
Yeah,
he's
'cause he
protecting
walked.
him as a friend.
Oh, okay.
He said as Wendell's friends, which I have held at gunpoint. Like I'm sure he had pointed him. I think that they were pointing him.
So you're calling Rowdy shot him.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
You're calling the
I'm
sheriff
thinking
shot
the sheriff shot him.
him. All right.
But I don't know. I don't know what comes from this though.
Only way I feel like the sheriff would have got him is because he had the gun right. He has the gun pointed at them while they're on the ground, like hidden, and he just happens to pull his gun up, and the sheriff.
Right. Just quick.
You
draw
know
them.
where
Yeah.
you know where I think you could be right, just from my vantage point, is it says the first shot came from nowhere but the sky.
Yeah.
What if Rowdy just shoots and misses everything, or shoots into the sky, or just shoots and makes a noise? And the first,
Oh, you think it's like an
I think
actual
it's
random
I
bullet?
think it was like a random bullet from the sky, pop, and then boom. Then the sheriff's like,
Sheriff,
okay,
yeah,
someone just
yeah,
shot. We're taking
yeah.
out the guy who's looking at me.
Oh,
and then-
okay.
because
it wasn't
then-
like an actual
Because
random
here's the
bullet that
thing,
killed
right?
Betts.
Because if you look at the words, it says then. It says and Betts' men opened fire.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they were shooting beforehand.
No.
So I don't think it was really one of Betts' men shooting, and it doesn't say that Betts was the one that shot. So I think that like Rowdy may have shot a bullet at someone or missed, or maybe he did hit Betts, but then once then there was like another shot and Betts came crumbling down, and then the people opened fire. So maybe they were waiting to shoot until they realized Betts had been hit, or maybe they had shot already, realized he had been hit, and really just opened fire. That's what I wonder.
What did? Okay. I need to see this real quick.
Well, it does say there's two shots. First shot came out of nowhere from the sky, as if they were riding Wide River red light watching in the pines. Then Wendell's, and then in the next moment, a shadow of the trailer slid the way over Wendell's eyes. He alone could see the second pew tore from the corner of the living room window.
Living room window.
Mhm.
Who's inside of his house though? Rowdy? You think Rowdy had snuck back inside the trailer, got a gun, and was like ready to defend someone
Yeah,
and shot Betts? That would actually be a pretty fascinating scenario.
I feel like that would make sense.
That's true. I saw the living room part, but I didn't know like did it hit the living room? It
Yeah, that's
came
what
from the living
that's what
room.
I was
Yeah,
confused
no,
about.
I don't know if he noticed someone move in the living room or
Yeah.
but it kind of sounds like that. I just read it again. And I was like, well, maybe, but I don't know. We'll have to find out.
I guess we will.
There we go, part 4, and then
That will wrap up season 1
season 1
of the
is
Book Club
coming to a
Bros.
close.
It has almost been
just
a
one
full
week.
year.
Yeah, we got. You guys can't see it, but we have 11 books literally right about
Stacked.
one more stack, and you'll probably see it. But yeah, we're gonna have to get a little bookshelf or something. Because yeah, I mean, look at them.
Wow.
It's covering. So we've been cruising for a bruising on these books, guys, and we're just getting started.
We've just learned so
just
much.
getting started. I
Don't-
know.
I don't want to say we've learned too much. Don't want to do the Dunning-Kruger effect, but we've learned.
Look at this guy,
There's
just
a lot.
name dropping stuff left and right now.
I just read
He's
that.
learning. He's learning.
I just
He
read
is.
that.
But
That's awesome.
all right, as you guys know, we're gonna finish up that book. But now it is time for our short snippets of the day, week, short snippets of the week for the podcast. Starting off with Miguel. What do we got for our quote?
You are stronger than you think. You have gotten through every bad day in your life, and you are undefeated.
Ooh. I like that.
Every bad day. That is
Stay
good.
motivated.
That's good. Landon.
Okay, it is time for our thought-provoking question of the day. And the one that I had chosen was, if you woke up and you were the last person alive on Earth, what would you do first?
Holy cow.
I know, I don't know what the answer is to this one. And just off the cuff, what do we got? What would be the first thing you wake up, you realize, let's just do it like The Society. I don't know if you guys have watched that. There's just no one.
Yeah.
There's just no one around anywhere. Just no one. What would be the first thing you do?
Steal a car.
Nice. But would it be stealing at that point?
No, well, yeah, 'cause
You
it's still
take a
not
car.
yours,
You
right?
take a car.
I'd grab a car from a
That's
dealership
the
or
first
something,
thing you do.
and just and be
feel
like,
that. I think I would do something similar. I'd probably do the most like luxurious thing I could possibly do. I think, and it would have to probably be a car. I think that would be the only thing that makes sense because I can't
Not
go
a-
to a fancy restaurant.
You
and
can't fly a
cook.
plane, can't fly a
Yeah.
chopper.
yeah, like there's not even food,
Yeah, being cooked for you.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree. I think I would.
right? Just
I
take a
would
nice
get in
car,
nice car and just drive around and be like, what? in the
right?
world
I'd
am I
be I'd go to like everywhere place that the mall and be
Yeah.
like, there's no way no one's here. Pull up and there's nothing. There's just there's cars there, but there's no people.
Yeah.
Pull up and like walk in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ghost town.
probably grab some stuff there.
This
Be
guy,
like, "All right."
his villain arc.
Food. Immediately after that, just
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
making the food? You got to make it yourself.
I'll cook it. It's just I'll try to find something simple and quick,
As long or
maybe food that's already
make your own
cooked.
pub sub. That'd be
That would be
wild.
fun.
Dude, unlimited
On the
chicken.
other,
I'm going to Chipotle free queso.
is that what you really do? What you
No,
really
my
do?
first thing would be, I'm thinking it's older. I'm praying. I'm trying to figure out
Like that.
what just happened.
You just woke up.
Bro,
and
I'd be
there's no
so
one.
scared.
I
I'd be
would
so.
too.
That's just the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
The first thing I think of would just be, dude,
Probably
because be so.
that too. But I'm talking about after that.
Well,
Like,
no,
all
it's
right,
just
what
what's
am
the
I gonna
first,
do?
No, what's the first thing you do? And then after that, yeah,
Yeah, I'd be shocked.
Maybe get a car. First thing I'm doing is I'm just like, what? Dude, I'd be so scared.
I would be too.
Dude, that'd be so scary.
Yeah, I'd be paranoid just thinking that I'm
Yeah.
not or I'd be like, there's no way. Like,
yeah, exactly.
there's just no way. And be like, I don't know where everyone is,
Dude,
but
you know-
there's no way I'm the only human on
The
earth.
first thing I would do after I prayed would be go to any type of the closest really nice arena and just go tour it. I'm going into the locker room at the Buck Stadium. And then I'm driving up to Orlando. I'm checking out all the behind the scenes stuff at the Magic. That's what I'm doing. Maybe going to an amusement park, but you can't do anything. You can't ride
What
the
do you
ride.
mean? You
You
can't
You can't ride the
flip
ride.
You can start the ride and then
Start it
ride.
and just jump in.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that.
Not initially,
I
but
can
after
take
after some time,
After some time, just
You,
like,
like,
all
time
right,
it,
I'm,
you're like,
I'm
all right, I
the
can
only
do
one
it.
left. If I end up dying from this, it's whatever. Then there's no one left on Earth. It's not like you wouldn't start like trying to figure out how to procreate.
You could.
you couldn't.
I know, but how? There's no way you couldn't try to
I mean-
foster life somehow.
No, I mean,
Make
I don't
a
know what
test
you would
tube
do.
baby, but
Yeah.
who knows how to do that?
Yeah,
off the
no.
cuff.
I mean, start researching.
right? You over there just
Start
grabbing
researching.
books.
You don't got to go to work.
True. You
Start
got all
researching.
the free time in the world.
But I don't
Go
know.
work on your jump shot.
Get in the car. I'm just
Hey, I'm the best basketball player on Earth.
literally. You
Right.
could say that officially.
Playing on your NBA court now. You doing the
Yeah,
buzzer
you could just go
buzzer
to-
beater? You're
Have
like
you-
setting the clock. You're like, all right.
Dude, that's what I'd be doing in the arena at
Literally.
the Magic.
You
Stadium.
miss it. You're like, all right, let's do that again. No one,
Gosh dang
no
it,
one
no
saw
one saw it.
that.
All right, dude, that'd be so daunting. Have either of you guys seen The Society?
No.
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's just like basic, and it was only one season long, and they ended it with no resolve. It's the saddest thing ever. It was like in the middle of COVID, and they were chopping shows, and yeah, it's just this
a
whole
shame.
society of kids and stuff like that. They're at this like high school party. They go home, whatever, wake up the next day, and all their parents are gone. And then the road to get out of town is like has stuff covering it.
Oh.
So like it's like almost like they're isolated, like you can't get out. And then the further you go, the more bad things start to happen to you. then you got to come back. Like you'll start to get bit by bugs. You'll start to feel sick. You got to go back and stay on your society.
Wow.
It was a crazy
That is
show, dude.
crazy.
It was literally it was like maybe one of my top 5 shows that I've watched, and they cut it after 1 season.
Wow.
It's the
It was
worst.
crazy.
Society.
The Society. I don't even know if they still have it up anymore because
Is that on Netflix?
it was on Netflix.
There you go. Well, guys, go check out that.
Go watch it if you want a real life example of what they did when they found out they were the last
Doesn't
people.
I feel like Will Ferrell has a movie.
Yeah, he does.
about that. Yeah.
I forget what it's called. Chosen, I think it is, with the dog. He had his dog.
Yeah, yeah.
That was sad.
Oh, really?
himself.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Very sad.
I don't do sad movies, so probably miss me on that one.
Yeah, it's like zombies. There's like zombies or something on it. Yeah, it's good.
So he's the last human, but not the last physical being. That's what I
Yeah.
wonder. I mean, if there's animals, like I'd go to the zoo.
You could connect with the animals, but that's only gonna take you so far.
And you can't get
Dude, I
that
get
close.
every
You know, there's
single
still
dog.
animals.
I would find the biggest mansion down here, and I would get every single dog.
How you gonna feed them?
Huh?
How you gonna feed them?
Get
Put some
every
pet
bag of
store.
dog food?
Yeah.
Every bag of, no matter what your question is, there's an answer to it.
This
Now,
guy, man.
if it's just me
There you go.
getting every dog, what am I gonna do? There's no people. It's the closest thing.
There's only animals.
Get a monkey?
Connect with the animals.
Trying to get a monkey?
All right.
Wow.
Oh, I'm not ready for this.
Time for one of our
The reason
favorite.
reason
segments.
why anyone comes here.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Am I wrong?
Here we go.
We're giving a three scenarios. You guys get to choose which one to dive in based on the titles. Number 1, am I wrong for refusing to wear a bra when my roommate's boyfriend stays over?
That could get raunchy.
Am I wrong for telling my husband that if he pays me hourly rate, I will do more housework? Am I wrong for telling my son to pay back the money he spent on his online girlfriend? Which one do you want to dive in more?
What one do you want to say no to?
All of them. That's
Well,
so crazy. I mean, I don't know. For the sake of an interesting combo, I feel like the first one.
I knew you were
The
gonna say
bra?
it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
We're doing the bra.
Yeah.
Am I
think
wrong?
I think it's been 4 weeks since
Yeah.
we've had a question
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Am I wrong for refusing to wear a bra when my roommate's boyfriend stays over? I don't wear a bra at home. I go to college, then library, then work at the gym, then out at 7 a.m. and back at 10 p.m. I usually take a quick shower when I get home, then make a snack and just relax for an hour before bed. On weekends, I barely leave the apartment besides the occasional outing with friends or colleagues. My roommate and I are very close, but now she has been biting my head off about me not wearing a bra at home. I was confused. Then she explained that it was about her boyfriend. I laughed in her face and told her to tomput a bra. Tomput, Tomput. Oh, okay. I laughed at her to put on a bra on his eyes instead. Oh, there you go. She got very upset at this. I told her that I wasn't interested in her BF, not at the slightest. She got offended and said that he isn't interested in me either. So then I was just like, why are we arguing? It's only an issue if we were interested in each other. Tell him next time he sees me braless, he can pretend that I am a wall. According to her, it wasn't about interest, but being invasive. He felt uncomfortable. Would you think that it was fine if he showed his D? I called her stupid because I was in my home. I wouldn't go braless in his home if we chose to go naked in his home. It's only wait, hold on. I butchered that. I wouldn't go braless in his home, and if he chose to go naked in his home, the only right I have is to get the H out of there. Then she called me the a-hole. Am I wrong?
I don't think she's wrong.
Lead us off, yeah, please.
I really don't think she's wrong.
Wait. You don't think she's wrong? What?
For not wanting to wear a bra at home.
Okay.
Like she's at home.
Gotcha,
this is
gotcha.
her
Flip side
space.
would be for a guy coming home, taking off his shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Is
Pretty
that the
much.
flip side?
I feel like
I
it would
feel
be
like so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think it's the flip side to just like wear no underwear?
to free ball at home.
Yeah.
I
Mm,
don't-
Isn't that the closest thing?
I
mean,
would say
I don't know.
yes. I
I-
mean, but it's a little different. You know,
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
can like I feel like guys can get away with it.
Yeah.
You know, because
Wait, like you think that would be accepted? Like that would be totally fine?
no, like I don't think people would really notice
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough.
too much. For the
Too
most
much.
part,
I mean, but I don't
for
think
the
that
most
you would.
part.
It depends. Yeah.
compared to a shirt off.
Yeah, shirt off. It's like it's like
Fair.
okay. Like, I can
Fair.
see
Let's
that.
let's just let's that can be the groundwork for it. Okay.
Anyways,
But
so
no, I don't think she's wrong. Just because it's her house, like she's in her space. And another thing too, bro. Just on a man's side, being with a woman, it's like you don't have to look. Like you could say, hey. I mean, it's there. Yes, of course, but you could say, hey, just be on your way. Like there's a little self control to it, and like
yeah,
I
I
know
mean,
it makes
do
it
you-
tougher.
Do you think? Just to jump in on yours.
Yeah, please.
Do you?
please.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry for what I'm about to say here. Do you think size matters on this?
Oh yeah, for sure, bro.
Like,
I agree. 'Cause
that's what I wonder.
if she's
Like how, like the more noticeable, the maybe you see why she would not want it to happen, or if now we're.
No,
This is
it's a
why we don't
valid-
do these questions
it's a valid
often.
question.
you guys chose this
It's a
question.
valid
That's
question.
true, but it's you gave us the option.
I did give you the option.
You
to
let us
not
into it.
choose
You let us
choose this
into it.
question too.
You let us into it. You're not slick.
See, because
Okay.
I've been in this situation before.
Oh really?
Dating a girl
Hey.
in it's 4 women in an apartment.
Right.
Like I mean, I'm visiting, so it's like I'm just gonna stay calm and do what I have to. I'm here for my girlfriend at
Right.
the time.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, of course, like if it's there, it's like you're like okay, especially if she's like in front of you and she's like having conversation and doing whatever. It's like all right,
Discipline.
yeah, exactly. You have to just as a man, I feel like the guy should be able to just be like, okay, like I'm gonna stay in control.
Yeah.
Like I'll say hello. I won't have too long of a convo. Even if maybe not even a convo at all. I might just say hello. How are you doing today? Great. I'm back in the room with my girlfriend. Like not
Yeah.
doing all that other stuff. Cause then that's a slippery slope. Cause then you start talking and you're like, your eyes wander. Then you're like,
It's only natural.
okay, now, yeah. Now in your head, you're like,
you know.
holy cow! Like it just spirals.
Right.
It's
It's
gonna spiral.
it's
It's only natural.
it's
It's a
it's-
slippery slope.
it's
bro. Like,
it's not a good it's not good for you
yeah. it's not.
regardless.
But I
It's
just
not good for anyone, right? So then that begs the question.
I don't think she's wrong. Bro.
No,
at the end of it.
I agree. I don't think she is either.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a little bit of insecurity and like protective.
Yes.
Especially if size matters, like Landon says. Maybe there is a
Hey,
size
yo, I put it
discrepancy.
out there. I didn't say that it does. Chill
But-
out with that.
But
You
but-
can dial that down.
but no, yeah. I mean, it's not like she's going, because I'm thinking like braless but t-shirt. It's not
Right.
like
Well,
it's not
yeah.
it's not
Yeah,
like
for sure.
topless.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
That would be a totally different combo.
She might be wrong for that.
Would she
Yeah.
would she be wrong?
yeah.
Yeah.
She would be. Very
You're like, what? What do you mean? This is my house. You're like,
You
yeah,
said it's
but-
only this is Chase's end. It's only natural.
Yeah.
This is how we were. This is how we came into the world.
No, it's only natural
I'm
for
just
the
messing
guy,
with
for
you.
the guys to look.
You deserve that.
I mean, it is natural for that too, I guess. I mean, they're there for a reason,
Right.
but no, yeah. So there you go. Well, there you go. All across the board, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's her house, her place. She pays rent, and yeah, there
it's
you go.
gonna just lead. I mean, the only reason that I'm not saying she's wrong, I'm just saying like it's gonna cause something until the boyfriend's out of the picture, or until like you're never gonna be able. Once it's been brought up, it's always gonna be that like because it says something like especially in the girls Vince's living there is like maybe don't date someone that you're worried about.
That's another thing.
Like if you the person that you're really dating, if you think they're all wrapped up in you, then you shouldn't be concerned about me.
Yeah.
Right. And she even made that clear, like, oh, he doesn't want you and you don't want him and oh, I don't want him, and it's just like
But you're still.
Yeah.
but you gotta have
Yeah.
that conversation. So I mean,
insecurities.
yeah.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
All
let's
right,
leave it
that's
there.
gonna wrap up part 3 of The Fall Back Down When I Die by Joe Wilkins.
Bet
book.
you didn't see it ending that way.
No, there you go. Just like the book.
Oh yeah.
just
There
like the
you go.
book.
Here we go.
But guys, we are going to finish up this book right here, and then that will be the season finale of season 1 of the Book Club Bros. But we will be back with a brand new book, brand new season, but the same old hosts.
And we're gonna have a whole different look. You're gonna see just no, it's probably gonna look the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe a shirtless here and there, but there you go. Maybe a
Gotta get
cone
those
head here
numbers
and
up.
there.
How else do we get you guys interested in the book club, bro?
There,
We'll add some more stuff.
there you go. But all right, guys,
Strobe lights.
that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. Take care. Peace.